Lockett from the Seattle Seahawks.
EK Metcalf from
Nate Burleson. You're watching NorbCam.
NorbCam.
You're watching NorbCam.
What's up, everybody? This is NorbCam coming at you on this Saturday, and it is Happy Anniversary Day. Yes, it is the 1-year anniversary of the NorbCam Discord. So, pretty special time to celebrate. I know it's not a great time right now as Seahawks fans, but you know, we got to celebrate the good stuff that we have going on. And I'm extremely appreciative of the fact that this Discord is. So it's hard to believe. I don't know if it feels like it's been a fast year. It feels like we've been through a lot of stuff. So this is actually felt like a long year in the making of this. So, but it's awesome. The fact that we made it through a year of establishing this. And today we're going to celebrate by doing it's been a while since I've done an Ask Norb. So this is the opportunity to hear from you guys questions via text on the Discord, or for those of you who want to speak to me directly, I'm going to pull up some people on the stream and get some questions from you that way. So if you haven't joined already, please do so. The link is right down there. It's also in the description. https://discord.gg/Seahawks, and I'll get you in there. Now, this is a little bit different. I would normally be doing this live. Right now, if you're watching this, you are watching this tape delayed, as I have been. I'm in YouTube probation because I did get a copyright strike against me for showing too much of the field in that Thursday night loss against the Rams. And because of that, I got copyright stricken. I don't really understand the rules, but those are the rules that are laid out. People can rip stuff off of NFL Network and they'll be fine. But if I shoot the field with my shaky iPhone, that's a copyright violation. Go figure. But it is what it is. So we're doing it this way. And so if you are sending it in, we're doing this live on tape live to tape on Discord. And you'll be watching this after the fact. So, but for next time, we will do this live. So if you haven't joined already, make sure you join the Discord and you can be part of this fun interaction that we'll do not only on things like this, but also on game days and Madden simulations. And there's plenty of other things to do here as well. So before we jump into answering your questions, I did want to do a couple of quick shout outs. First of all, I want to say a quick thank you to Daniel Dovinh of the Dovin Real Estate Group. He's been such a great partner in sponsoring and supporting my channel. Right there, that's his logo, Daniel Dovin Real Estate Group. If you have questions, or if you know anybody who is got questions about real estate, buying or selling a house, go check him out. Links are in the description for him. I also want to thank the NorbCam members. The MVPs, Nick LeBeau, Anthony D., Lori Cross, and the All-Pros, Jason E., Maria Mirage, Ninja CRK, and IB Dave Jones. There's a bunch of other members as well, and I appreciate all you guys who have supported the channel, but these are the ones who have really stepped up in a big way. So thank you to all of you. And to the Discord team, I've got to thank, of course, the guy who started it all, Mike Lorraine's 80 Broncos fans' son, Brett Lorraine, known as Mordrock7. He's the one who really got this going since he had already been doing Discord. I really didn't know anything about Discord. And Mike suggested, hey, maybe you could help Norb with his and get something cool going on. And he did. And we launched it with the help of several guys and eventually became a Discord partner, which was awesome. And then we've got a great staff of guys who are helping run things really efficiently now. So besides Mordrock7, we've got Nick LeBeau, we've got Diamond Miner, Macnay, Sky High Aviation, Clenifex, and Rishi. These guys are the core guys who are the crack staff that are running things. So I appreciate you guys for everything that you do for running this Discord. It's been a lot of fun, and I appreciate all the work that you put in, all the time that you put in. So to celebrate this, we're going to do this Ask Norb. The way we're going to do it is I've got a bunch of questions in here on the Ask Norb chat or text channel, and I'm just going to read through those, and I'll put them on the screen so you can actually see the questions that I go through them. I'll try to go through them quick, and then I'll also pull up people to talk on the stream game day voice channel and try to get some live questions that way as well. So let's jump right into it. All right. So let me pull up the chat Ask Norb chat questions right here. All right, there it is. And let's jump right into it.
Ask Norb.
All right, here we go. So as you can see, this is if you are on Discord, this is what you'd see. And I'm just going to go right through the questions that are listed right over here. So from SAV, he asks, why do you like the Hawks out of all teams? So I'm a homer. I'm born and raised in the Pacific Northwest, and I started getting into football in the late 70s. I'm old for those of you guys who don't know. I've been around for a while, you youngsters. So when I was a kid, I started playing Little League football, and I first started actually kind of just, I thought the Dallas Cowboys were an interesting team just because they had a quarterback by the name of Roger Staubach, and he sounded like one of my sci-fi favorite characters on a show called Battlestar Galactica named Starbuck. So I thought, his name sounds almost the same. I think I'll root for those guys. So I rooted for them against the Pittsburgh Steelers in the Super Bowl back in 79, I believe. They lost, but then after that I realized, we have a team right here in my hometown in Seattle. Who's these Seattle Seahawks? So after that, once I discovered we had a team, I just started following them, and I've been following them ever since. So I've been following this team for a good, 42 years now. So been through a lot of decades of bad football in the 70s, a little bit of playoff success in the 80s, a lot of bad playoff football in the 90s, and into the 2000s, we finally, made it into the first Super Bowl appearance against the Pittsburgh Steelers, who we play next week, by the way. Lost that sucker, which was a abysmal game, bad refereeing. Should have won a Super Bowl, and we lost. And then, of course, evolved into what it is now. So I've seen the good, I've seen the bad, I've seen the ugly, and here we are now. We've had a lot of good, and now we're seeing a lot of ugly right now. And it's just about a low point for the Seahawks I've seen in a while, but I've seen it all. So it's been one of those things where it could be worse. So I think there's still hope for this season. All right, continuing on. Next one. Let's see. I'm going to do it this way.
Ask Norb.
There we go. There it is. Question number 2. From Milk to Soup, 49ers are pretty bad. What's your second favorite team? Also an Irish-British Seahawks fan. 11-hour time difference. I get this question a lot. Who's my second favorite team? I really don't have a second favorite team. I don't really understand people who have more than one team that they like, because I guess when you've only liked one team your whole life, I've just been sort of, monogamous to that one. Just one loyalty, one team. Every other team is just a team that is a team that we have to beat. And the only time I root for other teams is when they might help my team. So I don't really have a second favorite team. I guess if I were to say, was there a team that doesn't bother me rooting for? I guess I've always, I don't know, maybe it's because I've met a lot of nice Saints fans. I like Drew Brees for a long time. So of all the teams, that I would say I would hope they would succeed was the Saints, just because I also think they got robbed. They got robbed in recent years. Won by the Rams. Pass interference call didn't get called, and I always felt Drew Brees deserved a little bit better. Should have had another opportunity at it before he retired. But other than that, it's just Seahawks, baby. Next question.
Ask Norb.
From Roshi, he says, what do you think our record prediction will be at the bye week, since Russ is out for at least 4 weeks? Well, let's take a look here. I got the schedule in front of me. Clearly, my prediction I did in my prediction video was way off. I said 8-0, which, if Seattle had done things the way they should have, we should be undefeated right now. But it's not the case. Clearly, we're 2-3. And how many games before our bye? We have the Steelers, the Saints that I just talked about, and Jacksonville. These are two teams definitely struggling. The Steelers and Jacksonville. Jacksonville hasn't won a game. Steelers are not doing well. New Orleans is kind of sometimes they look good, sometimes they look bad. But that's a Monday night game at home. I think we can win all 3 of these games. I think now clearly our home field advantage hasn't been great this year, even on primetime. even in all greens. But this Monday Night Football, I feel like we're going to come out. I think that this adversity with Russell Wilson's injury and the low that we've hit right now, I think this could be a bounce back opportunity. Sometimes you have to hit rock bottom to get better, and I feel like this could. A lot of people are jumping ship, and people feel like the offseason's over. I feel like this is going to be a turning point. I feel like this could actually galvanize the team. That Russell Wilson's injury could actually spark something that they've never had before, because they've been so spoiled not having Russell Wilson that I think him actually being out could change the entire chemistry of the team in a positive way. So what does that mean? That if we're 2-3 right now, we win three straight, we would be, what is that? 5-3. We could be 5-3 going into the bye week. I think it's very realistic. Next question.
Ask Norb.
From BBG Avery. Norb, you think Seahawks will make the playoffs? That depends upon a lot of things. Obviously, I had them going to the playoffs, but that was before I knew they were going to go 2-3 and have Russell Wilson injured. Obviously, the odds have taken a hit being this far in the division being very good, already losing to the Rams, who are now, a couple games ahead of us. We got the undefeated Cardinals, who right now look like the best team in the NFL. But will it stay this way? I think things are going to shake up. I think they're going to eventually lose. The Rams are going to drop some, and we have a chance to we haven't played the Cardinals yet, and we still have a game up on the Rams, or the 49ers. So can this happen? I still think there's a chance, but we're going to have to do what I just said we'd do, is to go undefeated to the bye week. And maybe this buys enough time for Russell to get back, and hopefully things have cleaned up. Maybe we'll have found our running game. Maybe our defensive issues will have gotten fixed like we did last year. And if those things happen, maybe again we could find ourselves looking back and go, wow, it's hard to believe we started so crappy. Remember, everybody thought we were out. We've heard that before, and we've found ways to turn it around. So I'm going to still say there's still a chance. Next question.
Ask Norb.
The number one Seattle fan. Why are the Hawks doing bad? I've been asking that myself. I think it's a combination. It's not just one thing, clearly. We have problems on all sides, all phases of the game. Our special teams are struggling, particularly on the kicking game, field goal kicking game. I'm not sure what that is, but that's just Jason Myers having to get his stuff straightened out. I think he will. Defense, I feel like it's not a lack of talent. I think it's a lack of communication, a issue with the players understanding and embracing the schemes that they're asked to do, which means they either got to figure it out or they got to change and simplify the schemes or put players in different positions, because right now the combination, whatever they're doing around, is not working. I think Jamal Adams is not being used in the best way. They should probably put him back to where he's most effective, which is rushing the passer and playing up at the line of scrimmage. I think dropping him in coverage is not working. They should put Ryan Neal back there, which worked really well against the 49ers. I think they should do more of that. And then guys have just got to step up and play better. We got to get better pressure on the quarterback. But a lot of it, I think, is more scheme and putting guys in the right positions. So if we can do that, I feel like that will solve the defensive side. Offensive side, I think it's a combination of, we've had a lot of injuries. I mean, we went into this without a D. Eskridge, no Gerald Everett, no Chris Carson, and now we're out Russell Wilson. But we'll get Everett back. We'll get Eskridge back in a few games. I think he's on IR, so he's missing another 3 games. But I do think Geno Smith gives us a chance to maybe help the Shane Waldron system actually function better, because he might just run it the way he wants it run. And I think there's probably a little bit of Russell running things the way he wants to run it and not necessarily the way the system is designed to. And we saw that with Geno hitting the easy balls, the checkdowns and the short stuff. And he's not going to throw the deep ball like Russell. And maybe that's okay. Maybe that actually will make the line have less pressure, because he'll get rid of the ball quicker, and maybe he will just get the 5-yard pass and maybe the 7-yard pass, and he won't be throwing 25, 30, 40 yards down the field, but he'll just do it in 5-yard chunks. And maybe that's okay. Maybe that will actually set up the rhythm to where that's what this offense was meant to be in the first place. So I'm hoping that that's the case, but we'll find out if we get to that stage, but we're going to really have to see it. We saw Geno Smith go 98 yards, having not started a game in 4 years, to go to 98 yards cold off the bench to score a touchdown. Now, granted, the Rams were in kind of prevent mode. They were just trying to make sure nothing was given deep. So obviously they were going to give the little stuff, which allowed him to do it, eat up a lot of clock. So how will he do against a team in a standard straight up 4-quarter games? That's a different story. So you can't translate that drive into, oh, he's great. He can go 98 yards. He'll do that every time. Don't count on it. But he's going to have to adapt, and now he will be the starter. So it's going to be different. Teams will have to prepare for him, and they don't know what he looks like because he hasn't played. So we might have that as an advantage since they know what Russell Wilson's all about, but they don't know what Geno Smith is. But what I liked about Geno is that he looked calm and cool in the pocket. He didn't panic. He seemed like he was in control. He did make the throws he had to make. The interception that happened, that was really bad luck. No call. What do you want to say? Issue with the Lockett falling down and the ball getting intercepted, but that was not on Geno. That was just bad luck. So, and he could run the ball. We saw him run, and be productive. So I feel a lot more confident than it would be if it was anybody else. So, and even Geno didn't get much to play in the preseason because he got knocked out with that concussion, and we just saw the 3rd and 4th string guys playing. So there's not a lot of tape on Geno right now, and we really don't know what Geno can do because we never see him because it's always Russell. So I think we're all in store for a bit of a surprise here to see how good he might be. And I would love to be surprised. We don't want a quarterback controversy at the end of the day, but it's going to kind of be required if we're going to want to stay in the race. So it's on Geno's shoulders here, at least on the offensive side, to keep this ship afloat. Next question.
Ask Nord.
All right, we've got, where are we here? CPAC Sports YT. Why did you start doing YouTube/Discord? YouTube started for me, I've told this story many times, but some of you may not have heard it. I never had a big plan for starting YouTube. What happened was I was 2013 in the home game against the Seahawks versus the Buccaneers, and we were down 20-0, or was it 21-0 at the half? And it was like they hadn't won a game, and we were flying high, and all of a sudden I was like, "What's going on here?" And wondering what's wrong with our team. And then we slowly came back and pushed it to overtime, and realized we were about to see a record-setting comeback if we could win it with a field goal at the end, which we did. So I decided I need to record this moment because this is historic here. So I got my phone out and just sort of talked through the play and reacted to what was going on, beast mode with a bunch of big runs, and eventually we got the kick and won the game. And so I recorded that moment, and it was great. And I decided to post it on YouTube for fun, and I just spontaneously said I'd call this NorbCam because it was me, Norb, with my camera. So I put that up, and people really loved it, and so I continued to do it all the way to the Super Bowl, and that's kind of what blew up the channel. To answer your other question about Discord, I didn't really know what Discord was. I had some limited exposure to it, but I really just saw it as more of a communication platform, but I didn't really understand all the different facets of it. So when Mike Lorraine, 80s Broncos fan, told me about Discord and how this could be a real benefit to my channel, he said, Brett's had experience doing this, Mordrock 7, in running a Discord channel. He said, you could probably set it up for you and get it going the right way. So I said, all right, let's go for it. So that's kind of where it went. Not really even understanding what it was going to do. But then once I started to really understand, I realized this was great. And part of it was I was doing interactive things with trying to, last year when we first started, I experimented with Zoom and different things of bringing people in. And I had some bad mishaps with people doing obscene things on camera because I would just let total strangers in and people, dropping their pants on camera. And I was like, okay, we can't do this. I need more control over this. So I stopped doing that. And then that's when the Discord idea came along, which was, people can join, but it takes a little more work. You can't just click on a link and then you're just in, it's a little bit more of an investment of time to join up on here. And if you if you misbehave, people would kick you out. So it was much more monitored. And so that's where the Discord side of interaction was much more appealing because there's a little more control. And there's a staff of guys who run this and keep things running clean. So that's what made it really great. So that's where the Discord came from. So it's great to be celebrating a year of this having been established. It's pretty awesome. Next question.
Ask Nord.
Let's see. Coach Mesh, one of the most interactive guys on this channel. Coach Mesh says, "Hey Norb, what's your favorite game show? Why are you ambivalent to my play calls? You have good girls. Though summer nights for prediction." I'm not sure what that means. I hear somebody typing away. Who is that typing in the? Who am I hearing? Here's some sounds in the background. Oh, all right. Coach Mesh, favorite game show? That's a good question. Jeopardy's hard because I'm not smart enough to know the answers to that, so I wouldn't say Jeopardy. Boy, I guess I was just off the top. Family Feud. Family Feud I like that show because it's funny. Steve Harvey's funny. The questions are easy. And I used to watch that way back in the day when I was in elementary school, and some days I'd be sick and I'd just watch it on TV, watch Family Feud. I'd just say Family Feud. That's still fun. That's still a fun show. Why am I ambivalent to your play calls? I listened to your calls, and I got to say, you have showed me some of the greatest plays that I've worked into my playbook. And so, I appreciate you and the other guys who have been on Madden coaching me up and giving me play suggestions. And that there are times when you want me to run something, and there are times when I guess I pull the Russell. I go, well, you know what? I don't feel like running that right now. I feel like I can get a play done with this play, or I might run it instead of passing the ball. And it is my prerogative to do so. So that was my decision there, because I'm not a robot. I'm not Geno Smith here just doing whatever he's told. I guess I'm more of the Russell deciding, got to go with the flow. What I feel is what's in my bones is going to be successful. Sometimes it's not, sometimes it is. So I'm not sure what you are saying here. You have good girls. I thought summer nights for prediction. Sorry, I don't understand that question. Something about the prediction video, but anyway. Next question.
Ask Nord.
John says, "Hey Norb, this is John. How's your mom doing? Also, do you think Seattle would like Watson or Cam, or should they stick with Geno?" Thank you, John, for asking. My mom is doing great. She, as some of you may or may not know, she broke her leg right around the start of the season, because I was in Florida at the first game of the regular season. They were on a cruise in the Eastern Caribbean. She tripped on a chair on deck, fell and broke her leg, and had to get emergency surgery in the island of St. Thomas. And then luckily it was successful. She got flown back, and she's been recovering ever since. So she's doing well. She's been doing physical therapy, strengthening the leg, and now she's able to walk on her own. She can climb upstairs, with the help of the handrail. She gets around with a walker, and for long distances, we still wheel her in a wheelchair. So she is able to watch my girls play volleyball. She's doing well. Her life is slowly returning to normal, but she has to keep doing the physical therapy to get to the point where she's completely back to normal. So she's doing great, though. So I appreciate you asking. So my mom is doing very well. Very pleased and blessed that worked out. Cam or Watson? I would stay away from both those guys. One is that Geno Smith, while he's been a backup this whole time, he has been studying under Russell Wilson for 4 seasons, 17, 18, 19, almost 5 if you count the overlap. But so he's been watching Russ for years now, under the same system, learning the same playbook. You bring a new quarterback in here to try to run the system that he hasn't been here, on a drop of a dime. There's going to be growing pains in there. And, that whole issue with Deshaun Watson, he's a great quarterback, but there's a lot of stuff swirling around his situation that I'm still not sure I'm comfortable with. Cam Newton, there's a reason why Cam Newton wasn't re-signed and why he's floating out there. I've never liked the guy anyway. He's, attitude-wise, I think he's been humbled and he's much better. But yeah, I'm not crazy about him. I say we roll with Geno. We roll with Geno, and if they have to, whatever happens at the end of the season, we're going to find out. But hopefully Russ heals up and things work out and he ends up staying. That's my hope. But in terms of a quarterback switch, that'll all be determined at the end of the year, depending on what happens with Russell, what happens with the team. But I wouldn't switch it out mid-season like this. Next question.
Ask Norb.
Andrew Andy says, "Hey Norb, just wondering, just asking that I thought you, your daughters, and your wife, or your dad to probably come to my place in Georgia. And for that, I know that the COVID-19 is going to be the worst for you all, but I was worried for myself to let it go. Maybe if you get a chance or not, that's up to you all, because maybe on my birthday on March 22nd, I don't know, we will see though. And don't forget maybe to bring Anthony D and Quentin D for me. Wow, it's a big group travel. And I hope that your daughters are going to be my good friends, including Tyler and Brandley. God bless you all and go Hawks. Yeah! Or yeah! No, thank you, man. I've never been to Georgia other than flying through the airport. But if we ever get a chance to go down there, maybe to watch a game or something, that would be probably the one time I would go there to actually visit the city. So if I ever come down to Georgia, I would certainly let you know, since I only have two or three people who live in Georgia that I would definitely look up if the time ever happened that I would be able to come down to Georgia. I think there's a friend of mine, Brian Frank, who's an actor and storyboard artist, and Sports Live and the ATL are my Atlanta connections. So I'll be looking y'all up if I ever get to Atlanta. So we'll see. I'm sure one day it'll happen, but not sure when. Don't play Atlanta this year, so it's going to be probably at least another year or more. We'll see. Next question.
Ask Norb.
Champa's 49ers are pretty bad. Norb, who was the best player in the 90s NFL? Oh, geez. Depends on... That's a very general question. For the Seahawks, I would probably have to go with our Hall of Famer, Cortez Kennedy. He was the best, I think, player on one of the worst teams we ever had, one of the worst offenses of all time for Seattle, and he was on one of the best defenses of all time. He was dominant, man. He was number 96. Cortez was pretty fantastic. Going to other players, I mean, you look at the dominant teams, who were really the teams of the time then. Gregory Sherman, thank you for subscribing. I guess you could look at players on the Cowboys. Emmitt Smith was a pretty great running back at the time. Barry Sanders, he played during the 90s. Barry Sanders, he's one of those guys that, was awesome. His career, he just kind of ended his career and unfortunately played on a team that just didn't go very far, so you don't really ever hold that team up to when you're a great player on a horrible team, you just don't get the same accolades. But Barry Sanders was awesome. Those are the few that jump out to me at this point. I'm sure there's others I'm not thinking of, but those are the ones that jump out at this point. Next question.
Ask Norb.
Scrolling down a little bit here. Coach Mesh again. Have you been lucky to survive when you thought you should die? Geno Smith for MVP. Thanks for getting bartender addicting. What would happen if I date one of your daughters? Heartbreak Hotel for prediction next year. Okay, wow. Let me see. Have you ever been lucky to survive when you thought you would die? That's an interesting question. You're going deep. There was a time when I had a close call when I thought I was close to when I could have definitely gotten into a bad accident. I was on my way home. I used to play in a live band called Rhythm Nation, and we would play in casinos and clubs and different venues. It was a lot of fun back in the early 2010s, like 2009 through 2013. And during one of these late night gigs, we were coming home. I was driving home, and it was probably like 3 a.m. And I was super tired, and I was like dozing off on the freeway. And I decided I need to just pull over and just close my eyes for a few minutes because I'm going to find myself swerving off the road or something. So I pulled off to the shoulder, and I was about to put into park and throw my seat back when I looked in the rearview mirror for whatever reason. I looked in the rearview mirror, and I looked back, and I thought, wow, those lights seem to be coming right behind me, but I'm in the shoulder. How can that be? maybe I'm just not looking at it right. And then I looked again. I was like, he's right behind me. And he's not slowing down. So I was still in drive. I floored it and veered off to the grass off the shoulder. And this car in the shoulder was going like 75, 80 miles an hour, just zoom, right by me. And I was going, holy crap, if I didn't pull off at that moment, he would have plowed right into the back of my car, and who knows what would have happened, but it wouldn't have been good. I mean, it would have been good for him. It would have been bad for me. So that was probably, and after that, I was wide awake. I was like, so that was probably the closest to a feeling like a near-death situation that I'd had, crystal clear. Whereas if I didn't do that move, I would have been messed up pretty bad. Geno Smith for MVP. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. I just want Geno Smith, the game manager. I would be happy with that because I think if we do that, that might be enough for the system to take off. I don't know what you mean by bartender addicting. I don't know what that means. What would happen if I date one of your daughters? My daughters have not dated anybody. We're pretty protective of them. So I would be treating you like I treat anybody else. If my daughters got to start being interested in somebody, they're going to get definitely the cleaning the shotgun on the porch. So what are you thinking about doing here, buddy boy? No, not really. I don't have a shotgun. But, it's uncharted territory. But I certainly am going to be keeping a watchful eye out. And I would go for anybody, whether it's you or somebody at their school, most likely somebody like that, or whoever it might be. Heartbreak Hotel for prediction next year. Interesting. You're talking about the Elvis Presley classic, Heartbreak Hotel? Look, my dad actually did suggest, hey, you should do an Elvis song. My dad's like the biggest Elvis fan in the world. I might have to do one for that. Next question.
Ask Norb.
Comes from Ninja. How do you like your steak done? Medium rare, baby. I like a little bit, darker on the outside, but nice red, juicy center in the middle. If you overcook it, it just tastes like leather. It's still good. Next question.
Ask Norb.
CPAC Sports YT. Any advice for new small sports YouTubers? For what I can offer you, I would just say the main thing is you want to just figure out what your identity is. Figure out what your take is. You want to be yourself. People, I think, they connect to your personality, and I think if you can be as true to your personality as you can, and be interesting, that's a big part of it. I would always try to do things in the highest quality that you can. Obviously, things are expensive the more you get into things, but there's a lot of stuff you can do that don't involve a lot of investment, but just more understanding of production, basic things like how do you get decent lighting? What's a good way to make sure your audio is good? One of the biggest issue I find for people who are doing anything video, everyone focuses on the camera and the look of things, and they forget about the audio. And audio, I think, is more than 50% of what you're experiencing, especially if you're doing something where you're like YouTube, where you're doing a lot of talking or anything. Because there's nothing more frustrating than when you're trying to listen to somebody talk and they sound like they're on a camera or a phone microphone 10 feet across the room, all reverby and echoey and stuff like that. So just little things like that. If you're going to be on camera and you're using your phone, have the phone close to you, and so that the microphone, if that's the mic you're using, make sure it picks you up. Or invest in a small, cheap wireless microphone that you can get that works with your phone, or use earbuds. At least that way you get that close proximity sound. But that would be my first recommendation. Sound is the biggest thing. People disregard that, and they almost ignore it, and it's probably one of the most important things in anything that you're doing, whether it's podcasting or YouTubing or making videos. Got to have sound, got to have good sound. Otherwise, the quality just drops big time. Next question.
Ask Norb.
Okay, thoughts on Seattle Supersonics asks, thoughts on what the state of the Seahawks season is of now. I talked about this a little bit. We're definitely at a turning point, a pivotal point right now where it could either go quickly south or we can hang in there with the chance of bouncing back. And I think we have to win these next 3 games. Because if we can't win these next 3 games, we're not going to win much more after that, because these are probably at least 2 of the 3 easiest opponents we're going to have on the schedule. So we got to go 2 of 3 for sure, preferably go 3-0 in the next stretch. If we don't, and we do less than that, I think playoffs-wise, and we're not going to have a chance. So we got to do that. And then, of course, we hit a pretty rough, challenging part of the schedule with the Packers and the Cardinals, and that's when things are going to get really tough. But we got to be at least in a position where we can make those games matter by the bye week. So that's kind of where we're at. But I don't think we're definitely down, but not out. And it's going to be what Geno does, the adjustments. Clearly, the defense has to get better because it can't get any worse, because we're on pace to be the worst defense of all time in regards to yards being given up. So they've got to figure out where to put these guys in better positions, figure out a different scheme, because as of right now, ain't working. And I don't think it's because of a lack of talent. I don't think this team is bad because we just have a lack of players on the team. These are good players. I just don't think they are executing properly or not being put in the right position. So, it can, and I think should get better, but it's going to take a combination of players and coaches fixing what's not working right now. Next question.
Ask Norb.
Let's see. How do you think, from the paper portal, how do you think Brandon Shell is going to do against one of the most feared defenders in football, the man who makes opposing tackles stay up at night, the one and only TJ Watt? Well, the Steelers haven't been doing great. And I'm not sure. I thought TJ Watt maybe had been banged up a little bit, so I don't know if he's fully functional. But he's one guy that we have to pay attention to. And if they fail to address that, well, that's on the coaches to not at least have a tight end chip on that side or something. So they need to make sure that they account for him. I would like to think that they will. And that means they're going to have to find out work around that and find other ways to be productive on offense. Don't run to the side that is going to be probably most likely to stop you. That 4th down play against the Rams where we went 4th and 2, they ran right to Aaron Donald's side, in this really tight formation. I'm thinking this is the most predictable set you can have. Why not at least keep something open with the possibility of a throw or running outside or something, or read option? But I thought that was a bad play call. I didn't mind so much the going for it. I just didn't like the play choice that they had. So they got to be a little bit more creative if they are going to have to deal with TJ Watt. That's it. Just don't let him be a one-man wrecking crew. There's for every advantage, there's a disadvantage. So we should be able to work around that. That should not be the issue when we play the Steelers on Sunday. Next question.
Ask Norb.
Are you happy, from Roshi? Are you happy with the way your YouTube channel and the Discord server have grown over these past 365 days since the Discord was launched to the public? Not having any expectations on what the growth of Discord was going to be, I feel like it's been doing great. I know at one point there was some kind of accidental pruning of the members, which dropped us from a pretty good number down significantly, almost cut the numbers in half. I still don't really understand exactly what happened, but we're slowly growing our way back there. I know we just broke 1,700 members, so that's pretty exciting that we're slowly getting back up there. So I'm happy with the growth of Discord. Obviously, just like with YouTube, you always love to grow faster. I was a little surprised. This is the first year where during the off season, I actually had a regression in subscribers. Usually I'm always on some kind of upward clip, and it usually spikes during the season. And then off season tends to just sort of level off a little bit and just grow very slowly. But I actually hit the point where it was like going down. It was like going backwards by like 100 or 200 subscribers. I was like, what's happening? What did I do? But then once the season started again, it started to pick back up. So now I'm up over 47K, and I'm still on that search to get to 50. That's the goal. We'd love to get there before the end of the year. But that was surprising. That was the only surprising thing. And I really don't have any idea why that happened, but it did. But it's doing pretty well right now. But it's a grind. For those of you guys who are doing YouTube, you'll find that it's tough. It's tough. You might get the initial burst in the beginning when you first get going, but there's going to be that part in both the channel growth and then your own feelings with it, because you're going to hit a point where it's going to feel like you're going to hit these plateaus, and you're going to get sort of that feeling of burning out where it's like, man, doing a lot of stuff here, but why is it not growing? Or you just start to feel the work aspect, because the newness wears, just like anything, eventually the newness does wear off, and then it becomes a grind. And sticking through the grind and trying to think of ways to be creative while grinding it out and still creating regular content, that's the challenge. And it all takes time, and we all have busy lives and things going on, whether it's school, work, relationships, kids, or the combination of all of it. That's the challenge. So it's if you choose to do it, it's definitely a challenge, but you gotta love it. You gotta want to do the work, and that if you don't enjoy the journey, then it's not really worth doing, because you have to love the grind of it. So good luck if you decide to go down that road. Next question.
Ask Nord.
Let's see. From Israeli Seahawks fan, have you ever been to Israel? I have not. You should visit. I'm from there and currently live there. Beautiful place. Big Hawks fan. My parents have been there. They've traveled quite a bit, which I'm very happy that they've been able to have that opportunity to do so. That's one of the places. I have not been to that area. I've been to Europe. I've been to parts of Asia, but there's a lot more that I haven't been to. So I would love to go there just because of the historic aspect of it, just like other places. Italy, I'd love to go to. Other parts of Europe. Never been to Australia. Never been to South America, never been to Africa. So plenty of places that I have not been to that I'd like to explore at some point. But that would be fantastic. Hopefully I'll get that chance. Next question.
Ask Nord.
From Ninja, what's your favorite food cuisine? I get asked that question often. It really depends. There's the thing about, I think you guys all feel the same way. It all depends on what you feel like the mood for, right? Some days a pizza sounds awesome. And another day, I just feel like, man, Mexican would be great right now. And another day is like, oh, Filipino food. So, but if I had to nail it down to kind of like, if I had to choose one and feel like no matter what, I think I can always find something that I like. I do love Italian food. I brought up Italy. I do love Italian food because you can always go to an Italian restaurant and within that, you can always say, well, I don't feel like pizza, but I do feel like I can have some pasta. Or if I don't feel like pasta, maybe I'll go with, I don't know, ravioli or something, instead of like the long noodles, So there's a lot of different, choices. But man, I love myself some barbecue. There's some days when I just want to eat a half rack of ribs and some barbecue chicken or something. And there's some days a hot dog sounds pretty good, So, but I love Filipino food. Obviously, there's stuff that can never go wrong with lumpia, pancit, adobo, kare-kare. So yeah, it's hard to nail it down, but I guess I'd have to say Filipino food and Italian food usually can never go wrong with. There's always room for that. Next question.
Ask Nord.
C-Pack Sports, Chrysosmo, why the name and thoughts on Lance starting tomorrow?
My name? Well, to be honest, Chrysosmo is Norb's middle name. He gave that to me. I just stuck with it. I don't have a choice. So Chrysosmo is who I am. What do you think about Lance? He sucks. Jimmy G forever. Trey Lance, you got to go back to school, boy. I mean, I love my Niners, but Jimmy G's the man. It's too bad he's made out of glass. Sucks. You think Seahawks have problems? At least you have a backup quarterback. Trey Lance. Makes me want to puke. Next question.
Ask Nord.
Thanks, Chrysosmo. Appreciate you being here. Pick Me Bradley says, do you have a team except the Washington Huskies? Now I'm a homer there too. I started going to Husky games actually before I even started going to Seahawks games because they were cheaper. I remember the days of Steve Pallure back in the early 80s going to Husky Stadium, and the Huskies have always been good. So, but yeah, I went to UW, so Huskies are pretty much the team. if Wazoo's in the mix, if they get up there in a high position, I'm not one of those guys who'll never root for them ever. But if, we got a Washington team that's got a chance to succeed somewhere, I'll root for them, But I'm Huskies all the way until they're not. Next question.
Ask Norb.
From Mercedes-Benz. Say, Norb, have you ever been to Hawaii? Oh, lots of times. That's my wife's favorite place to travel. She just got back from there for work as a flight attendant for Delta Airlines. We've been there a number of times. Brought my kids there several times. I love going there. It's so much fun. My wife has so many favorite places to go there, so we always have these little spots that we visit. But I love the food. Hawaiian food is great. Love the weather. Of course, the beaches, the sun. It gets a little bit hot, but it's just fun. I don't know if I'd want to live there. If I were, I'd probably just want to live for a short time or make it one of those like places that I stay for chunks at a time and then come back. It's hard to beat. I was in Florida, just for a couple weeks at the beginning of the season for work and a little bit of pleasure. And it was too hot, too muggy, humidity. I was like, man, I'm missing me some Seattle right now. And so some places are great to visit, but not necessarily great to live in. So it's hard to beat what we got up here. But I do love visiting Hawaii. It's one of my favorite places and for the family. Next question.
Ask Norb.
From Coach Mesh again. Do you like your name? My name, NorbCam or Norb-Cam. I'll be honest with you. So my formal name is Norbert, N-O-R-B-E-R-T. You guys probably know that. And it was hard to have that name growing up. It's not exactly the coolest name, especially when you're a kid and get teased by a lot of your classmates. Not to mention that there was this character, a puppet, on a show called Boomerang. It was a TV show for kids. And they had a puppet character named Norbert. And so I'd hear it all the time. Norbert, I saw you on Boomerang last week. So that got old real quick. But, your name is what it is. So you just have to kind of embrace it. But yeah, it got shortened to Norb. My dad went by Bert and I went by Norb. So we kind of split it. He's actually Norberto. And so I'm like a junior, except he dropped the O. So, but hey, NorbCam works pretty good for me. So it's kind of stuck and I like it. Next question.
Ask Norb.
From NJ Devils fan 68069. As a non-hockey fan, that's me, how do you think the Kraken will do? Make the playoffs, bubble team, miss the playoffs, or win the division? Dude, you're asking questions I have no knowledge of. I haven't watched them play. I've watched a few highlights. That's about it. I don't know anything about whether I could watch them play and I wouldn't know whether they're a good team or a bad team. So I would be speculating about something like speculating on a horse to win a horse race. Like I don't know nothing about it. So all I could say is I know that wasn't Las Vegas's expansion team ended up winning the Stanley Cup in their first year out. So if it can happen to them, it can happen to the Kraken, right? So I don't know the odds on that, but I'm certainly hoping they do well. I'll try to catch a game here too and maybe react to it. But it's hard, man. When you don't really know a sport, it's really tough to get into it because you don't really know what you're looking for. Right? You know when a good thing has happened. You know when someone scores, but I don't know whether the team's playing well. I don't know if they're. I wouldn't be able to dissect a player's skill level or if they're running a good offensive design or something. I don't know anything about soccer or hockey for that matter. So it's hard to get into it. I can only watch it and check the score, and that's about all I'm good for. But maybe I'll learn something watching some games. So I'm looking forward to seeing how the Kraken do this year. Next question.
Ask Norb.
Let's see. From Luca Pastrami. What do you think about Geno Smith? Talked a little bit about him. Again, we just don't know that much about him because we haven't seen him play in such a long time. He did okay with the Jets, but again, it was the Jets. It wasn't a great team. We've seen him play a little bit here and there, preseason stuff, but we've never really seen him in a position where he never had to because Russell Wilson's never missed a game till now. So we saw a little bit. I liked what I saw. It was a small sample size. He was able to move the football. I think he ran the system a little more efficiently and didn't try to do the home run stuff, which I think might fit well with this. But we'll really know when we see a couple games with him at the helm because, you can't base it on this little tiny sample. One drive doesn't define what kind of quarterback he's going to be. Just like you can't define that one interception that he threw at the end on him either. So it's going to be that 4 quarters, start to finish, when there's not a 2-minute drive, when it's the 15 minutes you're trying to get a run established, trying to get first downs, and then you don't make it, you get sacked. Just when the flow of the game has to take the course of 60 minutes, it's a whole different beast. So, but I'm looking forward to it. I don't know a lot of other backup quarterbacks I would feel any optimism for. So I feel pretty good the fact that he at least got a taste of it, and he's been studying under Russell Wilson and knows the system as well as anybody. So I think it's as good a chance to succeed as anybody that we have out there. So we'll see. It's on Geno's hands. Hopefully we'll be chanting his name, Geno, in the stands for the next several weeks to come. But I'm excited. It's just going to be different because we've been watching Russell for 10 years now. To see somebody else under center starting, I mean, we haven't seen that since 2011. And, for some of you guys, I know who haven't been seeing anything else but Russell, it's going to be a weird deal. So get used to it. It's going to be different, but he could succeed. Keep my fingers crossed. Next question.
Ask Norb.
This is Champus. 49ers are pretty bad. Norb, what's your favorite sports car or normal car? Ooh, that's a good one. When in a perfect world, if I had like all the money in the world, I could just pick something. I mean, I've always thought Lamborghinis are pretty cool. I'd probably start driving it and realize that there's probably some obnoxious things about driving a car. Just like I had a chance to drive a Camaro just for fun. I got a Camaro when I was down in California driving Sophie around for one of her camps. I actually I rented a Challenger and then a Camaro. And man, that Camaro would be fun if it's just you and maybe another person. But when you have to have 4 people or people in the back seat, it is like a pain to get in and out of. So, but I figure if you're talking about a sports car, you would have a car that you clearly afford this car because you can have multiple cars. The one that you drive with the family, and then the one that you drive for going to the grocery store, and then the one you drive just to show off. So from a show-off car, Lamborghinis are pretty cool. But I've always liked that R8, the Audi R8. That is a sexy looking car. So never been in one. I've seen them a lot. We drive by. They're pretty awesome looking. So that would be pretty cool to have one of those. I also have always liked the Acura NSX. That's a sweet looking car. And the Teslas. Those are especially the model. Is it the Model X? I can't remember. The one that's the sportier, bigger one. I mean, that's a sweet looking for an electric car. But I've been in one and I felt the torque and the power of those would be pretty cool. But yeah, from a standpoint of if money was no object, I'd probably put those at the top of my list. I did own a Mustang in my bachelor days. I owned a Mustang GT, a red 4.6 V8. That's the sportiest car I ever owned. That thing could roar, and I think that's a get-up. Not the most practical car, but it was a lot of fun. Next question.
Ask Norb.
Let's see. From Nick says, NorbCam, do you think we should maybe sign or trade for another good backup QB in the coming weeks? Kind of like an insurance option if Geno goes down or doesn't play well. Right now, with the quarterbacks we have on the roster, it's a big drop-off from Geno to the next quarterback. And if you do think so, who? Ooh, now that's a good question because, what if Geno goes down and we're talking about the third string quarterback? Oh my gosh. At that point, I think the season is over. Do we roll with what we got back there or do we trade for somebody? It's hard, man, because, you to try to trade for a technically third string QB, what are you going to give up to get this guy when you still have other spots that you would love to trade for and upgrade? I have not thought about this situation, but I guess it is one that you have to think about just in case. I mean, somebody brought up the Cam Newton, the Deshaun Watson thing. I just don't think that would be a good fit. But I don't know who's out there. I don't know anybody who's floating around. I'd love to hear ideas from you guys of who would be a good. It's just because you never think about it. I never even think about Geno going in, and now we're having to think about it. So my brain has not been in the mode of, would be a good backup quarterback out there. I have to think about that one. You may have some ideas, but I'd love to hear what you guys think because that's a good question. Next one. I'm going for an hour already. We're still flying. Next question.
Ask Norb.
From Pick Me Bradley. How do you think who will win the NFC West? Well, it's kind of easy to just say the top 2 teams. because right now the Niners not looking good. Seahawks obviously struggling. It's going to take a bit of a miracle and a lot of good things to come our way for that to work out. The Cardinals, it's their division to lose, and the Rams are right on their tail. So it's clearly a two-horse race right now for the division, and unless the Cardinals have a major meltdown or they have a major injury of their own, it's going to be between those two teams at this point, unless something radically changes. In the end, do I think the Cardinals can hold them off? Will it be the Rams? I feel like if I had to pick the two, I haven't really watched the Cardinals play, so I don't have a good gauge on them. I've seen the Rams. I'm going to blindly say I think the Cardinals might have something special going on. I mean, we know that they've had that Kyler Murray's a good quarterback, and maybe this is the year they finally put things together. So I'm going to, I guess, jump on the current state of affairs and say that it's the Cardinals at the lead, and unless they blow up, it's going to be their division. So I hope that changes, but right now it looks like they're the ones in the pole position. They got the spot right now, and right now until we see a team take them down. I mean, we saw what they did to the Rams. Now, that might have been fluky or what, but right now they've got the edge. It's hard not to pick them. Next question.
Ask Norb.
Let's see. What is your top three in Seattle sports teams? Says CPAC Sports YT. What's your top three in Seattle sports teams? What's my top three? I guess you're asking, if you're asking me the three teams I watch the most, not necessarily which are the best teams, but which are the teams I pay attention to, clearly the Seahawks. And then when we had the Sonics, I'm going to go back to that because you didn't say what range. The Sonics were in there, and then the Mariners, because those are the three teams I've always paid attention to when they were all three here. I haven't paid that much attention to the Seattle Storm, which I think always gets a bad rap because they've really won the most championships. They've done the best when you look at pro sports, but I haven't watched a lot of WNBA. I don't watch a lot of soccer. I'm not big into hockey. So I guess the big three: football, basketball, and baseball. But we don't have basketball, so now it just comes down to two. Am I missing any other teams? I think that's it, right? Yeah, those are it. I hope someday we can go back to the three and have a basketball team back here again. Because, man, back in the 90s, the Sonics during the heyday, and I watched them when I was a kid when they won the championship back in 1979, and that was exciting. That was back with Fred Brown, Dennis Johnson, and Jack Sikma, and Lonnie Shelton, and names like that. I still have fond memories of Bob Blackburn calling those games way back in the day. But, yep, those days are long gone until we get a team back. It's kind of believe we've been without a team for 13 years now, almost 14 years. Crazy. Next question.
Ask Norb.
From Israeli Seahawks fan. Can the Seahawks win the NFC West now? Can Geno even take the QB1 role? Do you miss KJ? Yes, I miss KJ. Geno has to take the QB1 role. And can they win the West? I'll be happy if they get a wild card at this point. It would take a miracle and a half for the Seahawks to win the division, given the lead that the Cardinals have right now and the fact that the Rams have already got one up on us. But it's still technically early, so we'll see. But a lot of it depends on how the next three games go. But right now, the window of hope is still open. So I'm going to hang on to that. Next question.
Ask Norb.
Coach Mesh again says, if Geno Smith wins these games, there got to be a lot of controversy. Do you like your name? I think I answered that already. Also, what do you think about my sing and my style? And your girls are amazing. I wish I could play volleyball with them. Attention by Charlie Puth prediction video for next year. Okay, duly noted. Attention. I will definitely be asking about songs for next year to get your feedback on that. Controversy. You know what? That's okay. I'm okay if there's a quarterback controversy. If Geno Smith goes undefeated until Russell comes back, yeah, we'll have a controversy, but at least our team will be in the hunt. I'll take that as opposed to Geno sucking and the team plummeting and basically being out. And what I think about your singing and my style, I think you should limit your singing on the Madden games. But I'm impressed by the fact that you can learn lyrics so quickly. You're the fastest lyric learner that I have ever known. So that by itself is impressive. You have good pitch. I think you just have to work on your tone because you kind of sing with this sort of very almost monotone type of sound, but you have the actual pitch is actually pretty correct. You just got to work on feel. Because I could sing. What would be a good song here? Just trying to think of something. Oh no, now we gotta go down to Lambeau. Why we got the fact that it's so damn cold? No. Because you can sing, oh no, now we have to go down to Lambeau. Da, da, da. You know, so that's no feel. Feel is, oh no, now we gotta go down to Lambeau. It's dynamics, so it's kind of being soft and working that. That's one thing you can work on because your pitch is actually pretty good, but you got to work on the feel. And your range is on the low side because I know you sing like the high notes more on the low side. So expand your range, work on the dynamics. Next question.
Ask Nord.
Roshi. How do you think the Mariners will do next year, possibly without Kyle Seager? Well, given the fact that they overachieved this year, they weren't even supposed to be close to the playoffs. Next year was supposed to be the big year that they kind of going for it. So I'm going to assume that that's the plan. They say they're going to spend money for next year. So given all that, I'd like to think that if they do spend money to upgrade, we need more offense. You know, the pitching was going to be, I think our pitching will be better. They'll probably have to get another one to add to it, but our pitching is pretty solid and we're going to get some guys who are injured like Paxton and he wasn't even here the whole season. So hopefully if he comes back and be himself, defense is pretty good. It's really the offense that really needs the big boost. So if they spend some money, get some names in here to really, open it up where we can start scoring much better run differential, then I think we got a chance because they almost made it this year given what they had. And Kyle Seager, sadly, don't really understand all the whole thing about what is the rebuild plan and where he fits on it, but he is older and, if he's not part of the plan, well, I guess I understand that. So sounds like he's gone. So it'll be sad, though. I don't know if he'll go play for somebody else or if what he's going to do. But he's been great while he was here. So the last of the remnants of the previous teams of bygone days. Next question.
Ask Nord.
Hey, from Jake, 2012 graduate. Hey, Norb, what's your thoughts on the doctors for this team? I don't understand how Eskridge is still hurt. Yeah, it's puzzling to me too. And I know that concussions are a weird deal because it's not like you just tape it up and get out there and tough it out. You got to go through these protocols, and if you don't pass the protocol, you can be as tough as you want and say you're great, but if you don't pass whatever those tests are, it doesn't matter. So I don't think it's not like the kind of thing where if you have a bad ankle or a contusion on your arm or something where you just go, doctors, fix it up, wrap it up, ice it, do some process on it. I don't think there's any process for a concussion because it's your brain. It's like a brain. The concussion is a brain bruise, right? It means your brain got too rattled. It hit the inside of your skull too hard. And the brain has to show that it's working properly. And I was surprised too. I thought most guys, it seems like concussions are a thing that lasts maybe a week or two. But the fact that he went on IR to miss 3 more games, disappointing, but it was surprising to me as well. But I don't think you can blame the doctors for that. I don't think there's any magic cure for a concussion that you can blame the doctors on. It's just not their fault. But it's just unfortunate that was how bad that hit turned out to be. Hopefully he comes back because he's definitely a big part of the offense. Next question.
Ask Nord.
From Luca Pastrami. Do you think that the Jamal Adams contract was worth it? I think it's too early to say. I think he was productive last year. This year, not so much. But does that mean the contract's not worth it? Well, there's still time to be figured out whether it's good or not. They got to figure it out, and I think he's a good player. I don't think he's a bad player, but obviously, like any player, every player has their strengths and every player has their weaknesses. I don't think right now pass coverage seems to be his forte. He's good at I think he's good at tackling. He's good at being aggressive, but he's got some issues with his, soundness in terms of, like even on the run, his gaps and things like that. So right now it's definitely not paying off, but that doesn't mean it's not going to be worth it in the long run. So like I said about everything else, they got to fix it and figure out how to best utilize him so that he can be in the best position to succeed. We're just not there yet. So I hope they get that figured out, because I'm rooting for him. I was doing my darndest to be behind it and rooting for him and wanting it to be worth everything that they gave up for him. And of course, it's frustrating to see him struggling and getting pointed at as the guy who's the weak link in the chain and that it was a bust and all that stuff. I think it's too early to tell. We can all look back maybe and look at the start of the season and think, wow, remember when we were thinking this and that? Well, look how it all turned out. Well, we'll see. Next question.
Ask Nord.
We're getting down to the end here, and I'll bring in some people for some live chats. But we've got Roshi says, which players do you think we should sign next year to make our cornerback group a lot better in 2022? Well, I think Trey Flowers is done. I like Sidney Jones with what we've seen. And again, I like DJ Reed last year, and why is it not working this year? It's not one guy, because again, if it was, I think we could be okay with those two guys. I think we still need to keep looking though, in the draft as well. And we haven't even seen Trey Brown yet, so we haven't even gone, and what's the other guy? Blessed Austin. So we haven't even gone through the guys we have yet. So I feel like before we even talk about what we need further, we haven't even gone through the inventory in our hands, in our possession. So I want to see fully what we got. And I also still think that it's not, obviously when they took out, number 21, everybody was, said, get him out of there, get Flowers out of there. Well, that didn't fix the problem. So are you going to tell me that it's just every cornerback sucks, that's why we're one of the worst defense? Or is there something else going on? I feel like there's something else going on, that it's not that we just have horribly bad players. I think we've got something that's broken in the communication or the scheme, or both the players' communication and the scheme, but whatever it is, it's not suiting what we have. And I feel like it's more of the whole picture and not a bunch of problems with a bunch of individual guys. So, anyway, so I want to see what else we got in here with these other two guys that are part of this mix, and then but next year I do still think we gotta look to the draft and see what's available in the free agency. It was a shame that we couldn't have at least given a look at Stephon Gilmore, but I understand it from the fact that we had so many guys already picked up that we hadn't even had a chance to try out yet in the system. Maybe there's a diamond in the rough in there, but something's got to get fixed. That's for sure.
Ask Nord.
Let's see, where are we at here? The paper portal. Najee Harris, Jamal Adams in the open field. Who do you think wins that matchup? I'm taking Najee hurdling right over Jamal, but wondering what you think. I guess you're talking about if he's running right at him and Jamal Adams has to tackle him. I'm going to say, we're just talking about tackling here, right? I know he hasn't been great on tackling. We saw him do that kind of shoulder tackle. I'm gonna keep my faith here. I'm going to say 1-on-1, he's coming down the field, he's going to make that tackle. Now, if it's coverage, that might be a different story. But on the tackle, he's going to get it. He's going to get it done. Next question.
Ask Nord.
We're almost to the end here, folks. From John Rick. Hey, Norb, what do you think is going to happen with Dwayne Brown? Do you think we're going to re-sign him or not? Yeah, you're looking in the year, now that this is going to be the last year of his, we didn't extend him, we just sort of guaranteed him and got him a little bit more money this year, but that doesn't answer the future. It seems like that they are not looking to extend because they would have done so, I think, if they had planned to. The question is, who are they going to get to take his spot? Now, the thing is, he's not exactly been Walter Jones over there. I mean, he's the one responsible for that holding call that cost the Seahawks the touchdown in the end of the first half. I've seen some misses. I've seen some guys get by him. I don't know. I'm not sure he's the be-all, end-all. He was for a while. I felt like one of the best linemen on the team, but I'm not sure if that's still the case. Now, that doesn't mean we're going to be able to find somebody to easily take his spot, but he is getting up there in age, and that's something. So I would say the writing on the wall is probably no. But what are they going to do to replace him come next year? Trade or draft, one of the two. But I think he's going to go the Kyle Seager route here pretty soon. Next question. Oh, where am I at here?
That's Nord.
All right. We're down to the last couple of questions. Coach Mesh, Norb, how do you forget these classic summer nights from Greece? And you're talking about the song "Summer Nights" from Greece, and your prediction song. Oops, cover up here. Bartender. Yes, I know that song. Summer nights drifting away, oh, summer nights. Yeah, I know that one. That would be an interesting one for a prediction video. Summer days drifting away. How do I make that a Seahawks song? That'd be very interesting. It would almost be like the year. That would almost be a year where I go, you know what? This year it's going to be all musicals and make an entire musical soundtrack prediction video. That would be interesting. That would be kind of cool. Could pull from some old classics and some new stuff. Something to think about. What about Bartender? I'm not sure what you're asking about that. I hate the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's one of my favorites, actually. I really like that song. All right. Down to the last two. Next question.
That's Nord.
Tyler Parcher, Madden Sim after you're off probation? Yeah, for sure. I got to play this Rams game and try to avenge that game. So, yes, the Sims will begin. I'm on probation, I think, till Thursday. I basically was stripped of my streaming rights for a week. So, counting from Thursday Night Football, if it's a week, I'm guessing then I can get it back on Thursday. I don't know if I get it back Thursday or Friday, but sometime in there. So in time for the game on I guess the Steelers. So I could do a stream to Madden probably Friday before the game and then catch back up. Luckily, it's a long week. Final question.
That's Nord.
From Pick Me Bradley. Does Chrysostom have a favorite college football team?
What's college? I didn't go to college. I don't know anything about college. I only know the 49ers and any team that will take down the Seahawks, which they're doing very well right now. Bye-bye, Russell. Oops.
That's Nord.
All right, so that's it for the questions. So I'm going to take this to the chat room here, and let's see who we got. Anybody still hanging out in there? Well, let's see. Oh, there's some people in here. All right. All right, let's go see what we got. We've got Coach Mesh with a lot of questions, a lot of musical questions. Let's see what he's got to say. What's up? Coach Mesh.
You look amazing, as always.
Oh, well, thank you. Appreciate it. I hope, did you hear my answers to all your questions?
I did.
Okay. I didn't understand the bartender one. You had a question about, you mentioned bartender, but I didn't really see a question attached to that one.
It was I asked you a question about that I was addicted to that song now because of your music prediction video.
You're addicted to that song now because of that?
Yes.
So you never heard that song before this video, huh?
No.
I like that one. Yeah, have you gone to look up the original T-Pain?
Yes, I have.
You know, that's what's fun about it, because it's kind of a synergy type of thing, because when I make this video, I obviously put some of my own personal favorites in, but I'll go to my daughter, I'll ask her, because she listens to all the new hip-hop and rap stuff, and I'll ask her what's popular. She's the one who actually suggested the Bartender song. She was playing in her car. I was like, what song is this? This is actually kind of older, but it's T-Pain. They played this at a middle school dance, and people really liked it. And so I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. I could definitely see doing a song with this one. So it's cool to be able to, she shows it to me. I put it in my video and then I show it to you guys and then you end up liking the song and then, you end up becoming a fan of it. So it's kind of cool. And then you guys suggest songs which I never heard of and then I end up putting it in the video and then I end up liking them too. So it's kind of cool how that works.
Like he's ready by Lil Yachty.
Yeah, that's another one. That's one of my favorites. Unfortunately, the Rams that game didn't go the way it was supposed to, as I predicted in that video. I think we could have had, I said that Matt Stafford was overrated.
Oh.
Unfortunately, it was our defense that they held him in check for a half. And I think if they kept that up, they would have been able to make him look underrated. But unfortunately, they let him go unleashed in the second half. And yeah, that game was just, so many things about that game. Hard to look back on without frustration.
Yeah, I understand. But everybody has that type of problem. Even the Seahawks have a problem.
Yes, we have lots of problems there. I didn't think that Russell Wilson's health would be an issue, but
we never got Stephon Gilmore because he's in Carolina Panther.
We're doing surprisingly well behind.
We haven't got Geno Atkins yet, the former Cincinnati Bengals.
Another Geno. I'm gonna get behind. We're gonna have to roll with Geno Smith, and hopefully, that Geno will take us. But I know it feels like there's a lot of pieces we need, but I still feel like there's a scheme issue going on. That it's not the players; it's something wrong with the way the defense is communicating and the way the scheme is not working. I don't think that you could just take the same. I bet if we took all of our players out and replaced them with a bunch of different players, I still feel like we'd have a lot of the same problems. I do think it's on the coaching staff.
Well, yeah, of course. Scheme is very important in NFL. If you don't have the right scheme, it's not going to work.
Well, and I learned that because it's kind of like when I play, now that I've appreciated it more, the strategy playing Madden, that if I call the wrong defense or I run the wrong play against a certain defense, it's not going to work. And so just calling the right D and putting the certain players against a certain expected formation has a big affects the outcome. It's not just the same, whoever the players are, it's where you put them and what formation you put them in. I think that's more the problem than it is that we don't have the talent, to be honest with you. So we'll see. How we adjust.
Well, we could trade for somebody.
Yeah, that's always it's just like it's easy to say, well, let's just fire what we don't like, but it's just like the whole Trey Flowers thing.
But we only got 3 weeks left.
Yeah, but sometimes you can't solve all your problems in a trade. Just like everyone wants to fire Ken Norton Jr., but then what? You're just gonna find a coordinator sitting on his couch eating potato chips, and hey, we'll come in here and we'll make everything great.
Yeah, and I just don't. I'm kind of mad. Some people still think that the Jamal Adams trade is terrible. The Jamal Adams trade was not terrible. Bradley McDougald is not even in the NFL no more.
Well, we've seen him. He's had success with the Jets, and he had success last year. But you gotta figure out where to use him the best, because if you're putting him in a spot where he's not really going to succeed, you got to change it. I think that's just some adjustments not being made.
Yeah, because Bradley McDougald is not going to do well against Tyler Lockett. We saw that when he beat.
Right. So yeah, clearly Bradley, that trade, at least the Bradley McDougald for Jamal Adams swap, was worked out, but we gave up a lot more than just Bradley McDougald, and that's the part that people have the issue with. Giving up 2 firsts.
I know that was one of them, was the left guard. I think we asked, didn't we give up like Elijah Moore? I think.
I don't remember.
I think Elijah Moore was one of those draft picks we traded to the Jets.
Yeah. Well, And, I think this even calls into question the drafting of Seattle. You look at some of their top draft picks, and some of those guys are not playing or injured. Like right now, Trey Brown, D. Eskridge, not his fault, but they're on the bench right now. Jose Collier has barely been used. I think they're finally starting to use him, but you don't hear his name very much. Rashad Penny.
More like AJ puncher, because he can't punch out of the way.
Right. Yeah. So there's a lot of things to get fixed here, but I don't know. We'll know a lot more about how everything's looking by the bye week and whether the season is over or if we still have a chance. But if they don't beat the Steelers, who's one of the worst teams right now, and then Jacksonville, then we are one of the worst teams if that's the case.
Actually, Steelers are not like one of the worst teams. They're like top 15.
Well, I don't know.
But they're definitely not like the worst.
Yeah. Well, statistically, we're probably worse than them. But in regards to teams coming up, they are one of the lower teams right now that we should have a better chance at beating, just because they're not exactly playing their best football. So if we can't beat them, if we can't beat Jacksonville, maybe the Saints is a little bit of a toss-up. But if we can't beat those teams, we're certainly not going to beat the likes of the other teams coming up.
Well, Trevor Lawrence is kind of looks like a bust already. Let's say that.
Well, there's a lot of things. The head coach has kind of turned out to be a bust right now. I mean, that's the whole mess right there by itself. But
not being careful.
Top quarterback of the draft. Everybody was like, no doubt, saying he's the best quarterback that we've seen come through the draft. And so far, I'm not that impressed yet. But we'll see. It's just kind of like the Jamal Adams thing. Needs time to figure it out.
As we all know, Norb. Number one draft picks don't do well sometimes as undrafted.
Yeah, well, Joe Burrow, he was the number one draft pick last year, and it wasn't like he came out firing, but he's playing better this year. So sometimes they take a little bit more time to catch up.
James Robinson has done better than Joe Burrow.
Yeah. Well, and they need time. They got to have that time to see. But Sam Bradford, that dude, all of a sudden he's having this renaissance, this comeback year this year, leading the Panthers. That was a surprise. But hey, man, I'm gonna grab some other messages here. Let me grab Pick Me Bradley, who's also sitting there waiting. Pick Me Bradley, what's up? Bradley, you there? Nope. No Bradley. All right, let's go to Tyler Parcher. Tyler, what's going on?
Hey, just hanging out.
Yeah, hanging out. All right, appreciate you being on here. You're always close by to be found in the voice chat, but appreciate you being on here. I don't know if any of the other guys, if any of the staff are around, if Nick LeBeau or Sky High, if any of you guys are around, I'd love to have you jump on here just to say a few words about Discord. But jump on if you are able to.
Hold on.
But yeah, because I'm close to wrapping things up. I was going to keep this to an hour. It's probably already been going for an hour and a half. So it's always goes longer than expected.
You said Thursday or Friday you'll be back on doing other stuff.
Well, it depends when YouTube lifts their restriction on me. They said it's for a week. I can't live stream. So it started on Thursday. So a week tells me Thursday of next week. So I would think by Friday I should be good to go, but I don't know if it's going to be Thursday when that comes off.
You could also do Madden like just from Discord. You could just turn your camera on and just do a Madden sim too.
I suppose I could do that too, but I always try to do these things. I'd like to include the YouTube audience on things, but
I know.
We'll see. Anyway, so not sure if any of the fellas are there. Let me see if I see Pick Me Bradley. Pick Me Bradley, did you want to join in? Do you have a question for me?
Yeah.
Okay, what do you got? What's your question? Bradley? Oh, seems to be not there. Let me go to Seahawks State. Seahawks State.
First I want to say it's cool talking to you because I've been watching you for years,
Oh, thanks.
But yeah, I've been watching you for a long time. But what I want to ask, when do you think Russ will retire?
Well, I think the first question is going to be, how long will he be a Seahawk for? A lot of people are saying that, this could be the start of the end, Russell's injury and coming back, and this team, if it's terrible, he's going to want to move to a team that's a winner. I mean, obviously nobody knows, but certainly this could definitely be the straw that breaks the camel's back if Russell was already thinking about wanting to, if he's already been thinking about switching to another team. And if Seattle's not looking like the team that he wants to be with as to the future, it's hard to say. I hope that doesn't come to it because I'm still loyal to Russell. I still hope he comes back and can lead this team if we're still in it, and maybe we can make this amazing comeback in the second half of the season. But this is uncharted territory, and this injury. I think Russell's never been hurt. He's never missed a game even since Pee Wee Football League. So this is something he's never been through before. And, and I'm hoping that this is going to be, like I said earlier, something that maybe the team can rally around, and that'll be something that can turn around. As far as when will he retire, I know Russell wants to play till he's 40 at least. Can he survive there? I mean, he's survived pretty good. And even this injury isn't like he got a bad hit and got, knocked out of the game. It was one of those flukish hand throws that hit another player. We've seen it happen to Drew Brees a couple years ago, and other quarterbacks, have had that happen, and it's just a bad luck thing because it's not like he got hit and couldn't take it. It was just a bad wrong hand in the wrong place, wrong time. So I think he could last a while. He's proven his durability, and that means I think he could play for a long time. The question is, will it be in a Seahawks uniform? But I don't think he's going to leave the league anytime soon. I think he could definitely play till he's 40.
Yeah, another thing, what would your all-time Seahawks roster be, too? Do you want to do offense or defense or both?
All-time roster? Well, you don't have to look too much farther than 2013. I think I would take 2013's offense for sure, and maybe I'd put in, I'd add DK in there, maybe swap him out for Jermaine Kearse. If I were putting the dream team together, they're basically taking a really great team and making it better. That defense-wise, there's not much you can do with the defense. The defense is pretty awesome, but from the offense standpoint, I'd probably just take that same offense and maybe put DK in there, put Lockett in with Baldwin, so you'd have just this freaking awesome receiving core from DK
and
to Baldwin to Lockett to whoever else we had in there.
Largent, maybe.
Oh yeah. I guess I could pull back the old guard and throw the Largent in there. Yeah, if we're really going to go old school. Maybe on defense we add in Kenny Easley seasoned in with there. But it's hard to beat the Cam Chancellor Earl Thomas combination. Those two were pretty awesome. I don't know. Put Ronnie Lott instead of Richard Sherman on one side and Ronnie Lott on the other side. That would be pretty amazing. And maybe put in a different tight end. We had a pretty good tight end there, but if you want to put like a knockout tight end, put in somebody put a Travis Kelce in there, or a who's the tight end on the Chiefs for a long time who retired?
Tony Gonzalez.
Gonzalez, yeah, somebody like that. Yeah. And we never really had that dominant tight end. We had a solid tight end, but somebody like that. Outside of that, man, 2013 team's hard to beat. So, well, appreciate you watching all these years and joining the conversation today, man.
Thank you.
All right, appreciate it. Let me get Nick on here. Nick, since this is the 1 year anniversary, we were talking about it this morning. You brought it up, and it was like, wow, 1 year.
Right.
I want to get your thoughts since you are kind of the guy running this. Mordrock, Brett obviously started this, but you're kind of the one really handling the core of the staff duties now. What's your thoughts on 1 year later, man? Because you've been here since pretty early in the process as well.
Oh yeah, I mean, Well, we went from 0 members to like I think 3,000, and then kind of got that setback, and now we're back up to 1,700. So it's been a great ride. We're still on the up, looking at we have this like kind of bot in the server that does our statistics, kind of like you have for your channel for subscribers. And ever since the season starting, we've just been going up and up. If we keep it up, we're on track for doing some really good things this year. And it was really incredible that we did hit 3,000 last season, because when we started, I mean, it was the season like last year started a lot sooner. Like I think it was really a lot earlier in September. So the server launched October 9th. So it launched more mid-season, where now we have a complete full season to really, members-wise, get up there. So I think we're going to be doing very good things, and the journey's going to be great. It's feeling good.
Anything new that features-wise with Discord that think people should know about? Because I know a lot of people don't know a lot about Discord, especially the older generation who may not be familiar with it. But what are some of the cool things that have evolved with Discord just since the time we started to what we're doing now? Because I know you guys have added a lot of things that weren't there at the beginning.
Yeah, so after we kind of gained a lot of members, we were able to partner with Discord, the actual app. So that unlocked a lot of great benefits and features for the server that we utilized. More emojis and stickers you can use, kind of like, well, normal emojis, except they're custom. You have Seahawks ones, NorbCam ones. There's a lot better quality for voice calls. It's so for your type of stuff, the Maddens, the video quality's a lot better. Just overall kind of in the back side of things, like that kind of stuff, voice quality, video quality, that's definitely improved a lot. So yeah.
And then you have a lot of other things going on. Like right now, you have a baseball playoffs tournament going on, right?
We do. We have a
pick teams
MLB
and contest going on.
Oh yeah. Yep, and then we have a Madden tournament coming soon in the coming weeks. More details will be released on that. So the winner gets to play NorbCam on a stream. Like
Which
it's
I'll
your boy
be
did.
watching and being in.
Yep. That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah, for sure.
And we did that. We did the first one, and that was very successful and a lot of fun. And I definitely got my butt kicked, but it was fun doing it anyway. But that's
We should do like some movie watch parties too. We should do movie watch parties.
Yeah, that's true. That's the one thing we didn't really get to do in the off season, but I'd still like to try to figure out a way to do it. The hard part is trying to do an actual watch because you can't get around. There's so many copyright issues, but you can't show the movie, you can't show the audio. It's all going to get detected. So how to do one where we can actually watch without actually seeing the movie or hearing the movie is tricky. But
there was this one we watched. I was watching it with you on your live stream. Extraction. We did. I did have. There were copyright flags on that one, of course, though, because the music got picked up and things like that. So, oh boy,
we'll figure it out. I got to be careful now because now they got one ding on my channel.
Yeah.
I can't.
There's a lot of when it comes to that. There's a lot of kind of tiptoeing you really have to do.
Yeah. Yeah, and after I learned my lesson definitely during that Rams game. I was really getting a little edgier there, trying to show plays on camera, and
got grounded.
Got spanked for that one. So I realized, okay, I gotta play it safe because it's not worth the strike.
Yeah,
it's not
especially with the NFL.
Yeah,
especially with the NFL, they're very strict on that stuff.
And it's it really is kind of funny to me, the fact that you can show actual clips and they're okay with that, but if I try to shoot the game with my crude phone shaky in the stands, that they consider that a more egregious violation. I think the thing is they can't, because they don't own that. They don't own that, so they can't monetize that, but they can own the other stuff that you are trying to rip. So it's all about the money. That's what it comes down to. So
exactly, and there's also a lot of, it's pretty hypocritical too. Like I'll be scrolling through YouTube and I'll see like channels who are literally have like NFL Network broadcasts like live playing just all day long.
Right.
And they don't get taken down at all. It's weird.
It is.
The thing I use for watching NFL is the Red Zone, NFL Red Zone.
Right. Yeah,
that's a good one.
I mean, but all that,
is awesome.
no matter what the image is, the NFL owns that. So apparently they also own that image of that field on your phone. So they don't want that product being shown in any form or shape, no matter how it's being, not whether it's their broadcast or your own, learning it the hard way.
Right, and it's not like most of the people are making a ridiculous amount of money from it too.
Right, but what it is,
there's really not that much money they're losing from that.
But what it comes down to, and this is the thing that was also frustrating when I was in Florida, it's about streaming rights to the game, and that is a lot of money to them. And obviously, it's more. They're going to pay more attention if a lot of people are watching, and I'm sure that they noticed that a lot of people were watching my stream, so that got their attention. But it's that same thing because when I was in Florida, even though I have a paid account for the Game Pass on NFL.com, I have Xfinity, which I pay for. I couldn't use either of those things to watch it in Florida because it'll say out of market restrictions, blah, blah, blah. So even though I'm paying money for these things, I couldn't watch the game. That's why, Nick, I had you stream the game via Zoom off of your TV so I could watch it, which was great, by the way. Thank you for doing that. But
that was fun.
But, so what they want control of, because they know that the immediacy of watching the game is what people are paying for. So if somebody is on YouTube showing the game and they can watch the game and not have to go, I don't need to subscribe to this cable package in Florida, or I don't need to do this, or I don't need to buy that. If they can just watch for free on YouTube someone's stream, that's what they don't want to have happen, because they want people to pay whatever options are to pay for getting access to that stream.
Right.
So that's what they're shutting down. I mean, I understand it. It's just, I'm a little guy. But anyway, that's how it works. So anyway, not to get too far off topic, but anyway, I just want to say again, thank you for everything you're doing, Nick, and everybody else on the team, including Mordrock, Seven, Diamond Miner, MacNay, Sky High Aviation, Clan FX, and Rishi.
It's our pleasure.
And everybody who's here as a member. You guys make the Discord community, and that's what is really cool about this. So congratulations, everybody.
I'm always going to be here.
1 year anniversary. Thank you, Tyler. I know you will. So thank you for the 1 year anniversary. It's cool to make it, but it's like anything. It's just another step in the journey, and we'll keep this thing going. So I'll get out of probation Thursday on YouTube, and we'll go back to live streaming the conventional way. But I will be live streaming the Steelers game, and we'll go back to Madden simulations and a bunch of other stuff as well once I get the
Roundtable's back too.
Roundtable's starting to work its way back. So we're getting back into form. It's a little challenging, but we're working it out.
After Pittsburgh Steelers, we play the Saints Monday Night Football. I'll be in Marysville that day for that game.
All right. Well, I'll be in the stadium for that game and hopefully witness a victory. I can't believe we've gone this long. We've been waiting so long to get back in that stadium and yet to see a victory in person. So we need to get that home field advantage rolling for us. So
I'll get a startup video on Monday with my grandma and her Venza.
All right. Sounds good. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you so much for being part of this, everybody.
Thank you, Norb.
Thank you, Nick, and everybody on Discord. And we will talk to you guys all soon. Have a great weekend. Go Hawks.
Go